Anyway, where was I at? We're going to continue with chapter 1 today. Dumb Grunt, S.A. Avelar, the book that will never be finished. Where the fuck am I at? Jesus. 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 What is happening? Oh my god. Anyway, so we're going to continue with chapter 1. I got a little time to kill. It's going to be a quick one today. Because I got to get the fuck out of here soon. But I'm gonna enjoy my milkshake. And all of a sudden, he told me he was going to prevent Iraq. Voicemail. Where was it at? Oh, did I not mark my fucking space? God damn it. Infantry, Vietnam with the grunts, yeah. Okay, so I was at a part where I was talking to this old man about being in The Walking Dead. That was I talked about it last time. First Battalion, Ninth Marines. I was gonna change this time because the original part that I had was like a shitty corpsman. I'm a shitty veteran. We're gonna go for a different look this time. Anyway, uh, so I think I was over here. Okay. All right. So there we go. Mr. Torero, the medical assistant, is back at the desk, and he walks up to the counter. I forgot to ask, are you feeling suicidal or think you're in a danger to yourself or others? I forgot to ask. Are you feeling suicidal or think you're a danger to yourself or others? What? Do you want to commit suicide at this moment? She asked while replying to a text message on her phone. Frank thinks for 10 seconds. Not at this very moment. I smoked some weed not that long ago. He shrugs. Maybe later? He forces an awkward laugh. Kidding. Anyway, thank you for asking. Oh man. He sits back at his seat, and the rest of the room looks back down. Half an hour later, the morning dose of marijuana has finally worn off, and the post caffeine crash creeps at his neck. He thinks of abortion, suicide, homicide, herbicide, genocide. I guess I'm trying to state how bored he is with this part, but I don't love it. No, not thinks of abortion. His mind, maybe it is alright because his mind's just wandering. Yeah, he thinks of abortion, suicide, homicide, herbicide, genocide. Mr. Torero, yeah, because he just thinks about random shit. So that's just a silly way of saying random shit, right? Mr. Torero. Frank looks up hopefully. Yes, Dr. Wu is ready to see you. Okay? He gets up slowly so his miserable back doesn't turn into a sudden, debilitating sciatica and forces a painful smile at the staff at the front desk who do not acknowledge him. Let me just delete this part now. Okay. Shit. Anyway, half an hour later, yeah, he gets up slowly so his miserable back doesn't turn into a sudden debilitating sciatica and forces a painful smile at the staff at the front desk who do not acknowledge him. They walk into uh, Frank and the medical assistant. Frank and the medical assistant. God, man. I need to fuck this setup. Frank and the medical assistant walk into a small office. Okay, Mr. Torero, have a seat, and Dr. Wu will be right in. The medical assistant says to Frank and exits the room. I don't think she has. I don't think I have to put. I could take that out. I think. And she exits the room and she leaves the room and leaves the door open with we'll say a medical folder with a medical folder with a medical folder with a medical folder blah, 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 in a tray on the door. There we go. Because medical. The office is a standard everyday medical office. There's a painting of a man alone in the sea, drifting along in a small canoe. No shore around him or waves crashing, just the sun setting into the water, into the water ahead of him. Good to read this out loud. Um, around it, around it are different degrees of certificates from different, mostly online colleges. Uh, so we're just getting a setting going with the office now. Normal, trying to keep it broad but specific. Everything's apolitical with this. Everything's happening. Everything that's happening in the book is happening just in that moment. There's no big thoughts here. It's just that normal shitty office. Let's see. A smiling middle-aged Asian man. I don't want to say Asian. Uh, yeah, we'll say Asian. Uh, I don't know. Asian? Is there something wrong with that? I don't know. I feel already bad just saying it out loud now. But I don't think it's a secret that some Asians are doctors. Interesting. A smiling middle aged Asian man wearing a lab coat and unnecessary stethoscope walks into the room. Hello, Mr. Torero. How's your day going? I'm going to put that he grabs the medical uh, folder, the medical record folder from the door. Medical record, not medical folder, medical record, bro. Come on, man. Medical record. All right. Around it are different degrees and certificates from different, mostly online colleges. Wait, no, I said, oh, man, I'm fucking up. Okay, he grabs the, man, this is what I got. He grabs the medical record from the door. I'm just hoping my car doesn't get towed. And I spilled my drink all over the door. Toro size. Torero nods and force and looks looks uh and looks away. Good though. How are you? That was your mess outside? Well, I'm good. Thank you. Okay, well, I'm Dr. Wu. He adjusts himself in his seat and cracks his knuckles. We're gonna put that as a comma. I'm glad I've been watching YouTube videos about, like putting my commas in the right place, putting shit in the right place. Trying to. I'm not saying I'm perfect because believe me, I am not. But we're trying. He adjusts himself in his seat and cracks his knuckles, comma, because that could be distracting. I'll be doing the evaluation today. Just so you know, like the email said, this is not treatment. This is just an assessment of how debilitating your PTSD is to your life and how it affects your workability. I'm just an independent reviewer, and the VA will go from my recommendation. So when I ask you something, just be honest with me. Also, try to, we're going to do M dash. I learned about M dashes. Big fan of M dashes, as we will all find out. Also, try to not get too emotional so we can stay on track. Dr. Wu begins to type away at his computer. Okay, Frank says, exhaling nervously and adjusting his back. Says here, you have a mother and father. How would you describe your childhood? Dr. Wu asked while concentrating on the screen. Typical. Mom stayed at home and raised us. Dad worked. No abuse or anything. So no history of sexual or physical abuse. No. Okay. Dr. Wu looks at Frank suspiciously. Drugs? No. I did a little tweak before the Navy, but no, not in my grown-up life. Dr. Wu squints at the screen, reading a note carefully. I left something in there. I gotta delete that. My goof. It says here you smoke cannabis. Oh yeah, there's that. That's why. It says here you smoke cannabis. He says in quiet disdain. You asked if I do drugs. Frank says confused. You smoke cannabis, Mr. Toro. That's a drug. Frank sighs at the same thing he's heard a million times, like ecstasy, heroin, and meth. I've done some drugs in my life, and let me tell you, weed is not a drug. I'm not going to debate the legality of with you, Mr. Torero, Dr. Wu says sternly. Veterans come in here all the time trying to convince me that cannabis works, but I have to go with what is in front of me, and right now it says that cannabis is a drug with no therapeutic effects. Okay, sorry to step on your dick, doctor. I'm a drug addict. I'm a drug addict. I'm a drug addict then. I am a drug addict. I'm gonna put no, I don't like that. I'm gonna put I am a drug more dramatic. I am a drug addict. I didn't say that. Oh no, it's true. I agree with you, Doc Wu. If smoking weed is doing drugs, and I do drugs all the time. Frank shakes his head at his own disbelief at how much marijuana he smokes. Like, not shit. I'm gonna put like, like, like all the time. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Torero. So, what branch were you in? Navy. Okay. Thank you for your service. So, were you in boats and such? Dr. Wu asks, uninterested. They're ships, and thank you for thanking me for my service. No, I was a platoon corpsman with 1st Marine Division. I was a grunt. 1st Marine Division? Yeah, 1st Marine Division. No, I was a platoon corpsman with 1st Marine Division. I was a grunt. Not my whole enlistment, but that's what got me here. Frank says with a little pride. But I was on a ship for a little while in deployment. So you were with the infantry? Doc Wu asks, looking from his screen, continuing to type. In the infantry, yes, for 4 years. Comma, put another M dash there. I hope I'm not doing too much, but honestly, they just work, bro. Especially for conversation. In the infantry, yes, for 4 years. I worked in a cancer and hospice ward and bagged up dead people for 2 years in the San Diego Naval Hospital before that, but that was no big deal. I don't know what that is. Anyway, I was on a boat for a little while on my second deployment, but I was with my battalion on the Marine Expeditionary Unit out of Okinawa. They put the grunts in the dark crevices of the ship, and they put what? They put the grunts. They put the grunts away. They put the grunts away in the dark crevices of the ship, huh? We'll just say in the ship's dark crevices. There we go. In the ship's dark crevices. In the ship's dark crevices. Other than that, we just got really drunk over there. Okay, so did you ever serve in a combat zone? Yes. Iraq or Afghanistan? Afghanistan in the summer of 2010. During the summer surge. During the summer surge. We'll put another M dash there. The summer surge. You went with the infantry then? Yes. Where were you? Patrol Base Ortega in South Helmand Province, near the border with Pakistan. Frank chews a little at the inside of his cheek. What do you name the PBs after? Dr. Wu asks. They get named after the latest person to die or someone that died while fighting for the land it was built on. Ortega was my squad's original corpsman, and I was his replacement. He died fighting for that piece of shit ground they built that piece of shit on, Toro says in a muted tone. And you were at the medical station or battalion aid station? No, I was a squad corpsman for the 81mm mortar platoon in our battalion's weapons company, Frank says with his first genuine smile of the day. You went on missions, Dr. Wu types quickly. Yeah, daily patrols, sometimes twice a day, picking fights with the Taliban and finding IEDs and such. Pretty standard craziness under the circumstances. Frank shrugs innocently. and like win the hearts and minds. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Mr. Torero, we're right here. Mr. Torero, to be blunt, this next part of the exam may be uncomfortable. It's just that with so many false claims coming through the VA system, we have to ask some intense questions. Dr. Wu says while looking at the screen. Let's do it. Frank rubs his hands together in anticipation. Were you ever engaged in a firefight? Dr. Wu says as he types. Yes, multiple. Frank gazes off for a second. Like, all the time, and then a lot of nothing. Were you ever afraid for your life or the life of others? Those Marines' lives were my responsibility, and I took that very serious. How about your own life? Frank shakes his head. Don't give the slightest fuck. He says without hesitation. I'm going to comma that because it's all one movement. He says, how about your own life? Frank shakes his head. Don't give the slightest fuck. He says without hesitation and stops himself and clears his throat. Dr. Wu stops typing. I mean, were you ever afraid for your own life while in Afghanistan? Yeah, shit. I should have been killed like so many different times. Frank laughs and shakes his head in disappointment. Like, wow, I don't know what happened. God or Taliban just suck at shooting. God or Taliban just suck at shooting. Fuck, who knows? But yeah, a lot of bullets missed me, that's for sure. So, oh yeah, I was super scared for my life, Frank says, not believing the words he just uttered. Comma. Okay. Did you ever see a service member or a civilian dismembered or die? Yeah, a few times. Not the same guy over and over. Different guys. Some locals too. Frank's apostrophe. Frank's gaze wanders up at the different degrees and paintings. Dr. Fuck, I missed my spot. Frank's gaze wanders up at the different degrees and paintings on the wall behind Dr. Wu. Some blown up kids, some raped kids, some already killed kids. Kids had it really bad over there. Everyone had it bad there. Okay, Dr. Wu writes down some notes. Frank begins to push the ground with his toes and flex his calf muscle. Dr. Wu continues to type, and Frank scratches at his scabby fingers and leans back so his watering eyes don't spill. I was the sole medical guy there. I was the corpsman. We were on our own down there, so whenever something shit. I'm gonna use the M dash. Shit, anything happened. I was the first responder. On top of being the preventive medicine guy, the psychiatrist, and the rifleman when it was go time. You mean psychologist? No, what happened to what are my jams? Sorry, it's a good song. One More Time by Redbone. Good song. Listen to it right now. Some shit, anything happened. The first responder on top of being the preventive medicine guy, the psychiatrist, and the rifleman when it was go time. You mean psychologist? Oh, I'm going to put that. Dr. Wu attempts to make Dr. Wu says with a smile. No, I mean psychiatrist. I know the difference in, yeah. Anyway, any other questions? Are you feeling suicidal at this moment? Right now? Frank thinks about it. No. He shrugs lazily and unsure. Comma that, and then Frank thinks about it. I'm going to have to comma this. This is all one motion. It looks unnatural with all these periods. What is happening? Distractions. Distractions. Okay. Frank. Are you feeling suicidal right now? Frank thinks about it. No, he shrugs lazily and unsure. Have you ever attempted suicide? Frank adjusts himself on the chair because of a sudden pain in his back and clears his dry throat. I mean, yeah, once. It was before the first time I came to you guys for help. It says here you came in for treatment 3 years ago and suddenly stopped. Was the PTSD resolved? Fuck no, I just got kind of tired of, the whole pill pile that was given to me. The psychologist meant well, but you'd get comfortable with it and then she'd get transferred or find a better job. Oh shit. And instead of helping me, I would stare at the thousands of pills I had in my medicine cabinet and contemplate blank and debate with myself why I shouldn't end my life that day. I ended up just smoking weed and living off my unemployment and pretty much doing nothing productive until I applied for disability. Smoking weed, jerking off, and living off my unemployment. Did you attempt to overdose with the pills? No, I should have though. I drank a bottle of whiskey and tried to hang myself, but I'm fucking fat now, so the beam I tied the rope to broke, and a stack of wood that I had a stack of wood I had stored up there fell on me and knocked me out. No, should have though. I drank a bottle of whiskey, tried to hang myself, but I'm fucking fat now, so the beam I tied the rope to broke, and a stack of wood I had stored up there fell on me and knocked me out. My roommate Pete found me and woke me up and scolded me. I tried to tell him I was jerking off, but he knew. He was pretty pissed off at me. What happened then? I got drunk as fuck, smoked a metric fuck ton of weed, and chased loose women. That's kind of my medication cocktail. Anyway, I'm in bed after some chick left, and I think it was like Christmas Eve, and I just had the urge to try to K myself again. My roommate Pete left with his girlfriend, and I was home alone. I searched on the internet about ways to K myself without making a mess, but the stupid thing kept putting up links to S and to I don't know, the S word crisis lines, and the veteran one popped up. So fuck it. Let me just put a M dash there. Oh fuck. So fuck it. So fuck it. I called it and got to see someone about a week after that. They threw every pill at me and wouldn't even entertain the conversation of marijuana, so I was kind of turned off by the experience and just reverted to chasing women, toxic women, drinking my money away until the unemployment dried up, and I think I'm at rock bottom or close to it. And now I think, man, when did I write this? How fucked up was I? I shouldn't even wrote this shit. Okay. You think you guys would change something to key? Well, it's good you finally came back. Dr. Wu smiles gently at Frank. It's pretty common for veterans with PTSD to be reluctant about care at first, but they eventually come back. You think you guys would change something to keep them from leaving in the first place? Dr. Wu focuses back on a computer. Well, that's not what this meeting is about, Mr. Torero. Okay then, well, any other questions there, Doc? Yes, if you can please describe an average couple of bad days for me. I know it's been 5 years since 2010, but try to remember the two worst days for you from back then. You know what? I need to change that because it's not going to be 2 days. The original name was going to be 2 days in Helmand province of this book, but I don't like it, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just too literal, I guess. So yeah, it was my year, but I remember a bad incident for you from back then to let me get an idea of what you went through over there. They were all pretty bad. I think they're all kind of tied for one and two. I'm talking about the worst. I'm talking about the worst couple of events. The worst few events that brought you here. I'm making tell you about an average 2, which was average couple of days, which was probably just as shitty as any other couple of days. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Wu smiles at Frank. Well, fuck. Frank adjusts himself on his seat. Excuse me. Well, darn. This one time kind of sucked. I don't know. Honestly, Doc, I almost half enjoyed the war. I didn't realize how much I loved it until I got back. But yeah, sometimes it sucked. But I liked the shooting, friendships, and blowing up stuff. Part of it. Part of the job. Part of it. Part of it. This is an everyman, brah. Okay, tell me about that time. The worst time. I mean, fuck. I mean, it wasn't just one time, it was like all the time. He zones out at the painting of a man on the canoe, and Frank remembers something. Okay, well, tell me about a really bad couple of days. Uh. Okay, I'm gonna take out this part because it's kind of redundant and I don't like it. Tell me about that time, Dr. Wu says, looking up from his computer. Frank scratched at his chest where his rifle was supposed to be. That day sucked. It was actually about 2 days. Does that count? Sure. Okay, so that is the. Oh, wait up. And then I say, sure. Okay, Frank closes his eye and thinks about sitting in that desert, protected by his brothers because he protected them. The closeness, the intimacy, the openness that he doesn't have in his life anymore. Fuck. The man in the canoe continues towards the sunset. All right, and next is America Loves You, where we go into Afghanistan. I think there's already an episode with it, but we're going to redo it because we're just starting from scratch. Fuck it. I don't even want to look at the video that I made and see what kind of dog shit I made up. We're just going to keep on trucking, and we'll see you next time, man.